If you don't wash your car or detail it every couple weeks, what I would be doing to my car on the absolute bare minimum would be giving it 2 full details every year, once before winter and once following it. I will give my cars this bare minimum treatment so that regardless of the car that you own, it doesn't look half bad. It can be super old, it can be super mild out, but it doesn't have to look like it is that abused. This car that I have behind me is my daily driver. It's my 2009 Honda Accord, and it has over 200,000 kilometers on the odometer. It's been driven in the summer, it's been driven in the winter, it's been tracked. Now, I'll be honest, I don't give it that much love and attention, but it still looks pretty damn good for its age. It has the stock factory paint, it's been polished a couple times, and it still looks this good. Now, what's my secret to this? I will give my cars that bare minimum treatment. So I will polish it if it needs to, and I will basically stay up to date with the car. So if it needs a little bit of work, I will give it to it, instead of letting it run into the ground and then every once in a while giving it a ton of work, putting a ton of money into it and a ton of time into restoring it. This way, I will always be driving a pretty good looking vehicle. Now, this video isn't going to be about my Honda. This video is going to be about a friend of mine, Rob's, car. My friend Rob has owned this for multiple years, and since he's owned it, the paint hasn't ever been polished, it hasn't ever received the Milan treatment, and has only ever been washed a handful of times. So to say the least, it could definitely use some love. The worst part is that Rob wanted to play tag with a car and a pylon, and he lost to both of them. He got a little bit of damage on the front, and he got a little bit of damage on the driver's side rear of the car. If I can make it so that my friend Rob doesn't have to repaint the car and spend a lot of money at getting that fixed, that'll be great, because it'll be saving him some money, and maybe I can make some money in this too. I'm going to be addressing the scratches and the imperfections on the backside of the car in the next video, so should you have some sort of imperfection or, battle wound or something like that on your vehicle, you'll know exactly how to tackle it. So I'm going to give you my breakdown, I'm going to show you multiple different steps and multiple different ways to address the problem. But in the meantime, let's get working on this detail. Let's see if we can bring back the paint on this old neglected Nissan. Whenever you detail a vehicle, you're going to want to start with the dirtiest part of the vehicle and then work to the cleanest area. So for our situation here, we're going to be working with the wheels first. So the wheel area is by far the dirtiest part of this car. You can see that there's a ton of brake dust on here, and we're going to clean that up and get this all looking great. There's no point in addressing the damage that's found on the back side of the car, so that section of the car looks great, but then the rest of the vehicle looks atrocious. So we're going to begin with cleaning each one of the wheels. Every single wheel and tire is going to be different. So that's why in this bucket here, I have an arrangement of different brushes. So something like this Max Shine wheel cleaning brush is something that I use for almost every wheel. And this allows me to get into the barrel of every one to clean it all out. Now, I'll also use something like this from Easy Detail, or a little paintbrush style brush like this. Or if it's really intricate, I'll use an old toothbrush. What I would suggest getting is this brush here, this one here for the tires, and then this one here for the vertical parts of the wheel. All of these are going to be paired with some sort of wheel cleaner like this or tire cleaner, so I'm going to be showing you what I'm going to be using when I get to that point. Now, in every single bucket of mine, I have a little grit guard. So what it essentially is an insert that you put on the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket that keeps all the sediments and all the dirt on the bottom side of the bucket. So that way it doesn't get introduced into whatever's up top above it. But the thing is, with a grit guard like this, all the stuff that's on the bottom can be easily brought back up, which is kind of counterproductive. So that's why I upgraded to these ones here. So it doesn't matter if you have your bucket for wheels, you're cleaning that up, or you have it for a 2-bucket system where you have the wash mitt inside of there and you want to clean the entire vehicle. These grit guards are a must. So I've got one right there, and I also have one inside my bucket down there. But I'm going to be using a brush like this along with a wheel cleaner to clean up the wheel. Begin by spraying your wheels with water to rinse off any light dirt. If they're super dirty, you will need to use an acid-based wheel cleaner such as Meguiar's Wheel Brightener, but if it isn't that bad, you can use something like Meguiar's Ultimate Wheel Cleaner. Spray it liberally on the wheel and let it sit for a minute. While that penetrates the brake dust, grab an all-purpose cleaner and spray it on the tire and on your tire brush. Scrub the tire to remove all the oils from the surface of the sidewall. Following that, spray the wheel cleaner into your long-handled wheel brush to clean up the barrel of the wheel as much as you can. Any vertical areas such as the spokes and lug nuts can be cleaned with a paintbrush-style brush. Rinse off all the cleaners that are still on the wheel. Then, if you need to, repeat the same procedure to remove any brake dust that we missed. You'll then notice a really big difference here if you haven't cleaned your wheels in a super long time. If the wheels have some staining on them, which is basically brake dust that's embedded into the clear coat, what you can do to remove that is use a magic eraser. Ensure the wheel stays wet during this process, grab your eraser sponge and scrub the wheel until the stains are removed. So after you put some good work into it, the wheel will come out looking so much better. Now, if you want the best possible clean, there's no doubt that if you remove the wheel from the car, you'll be able to clean the barrel a lot better. But even still, this looks so much better than how we started. But if you repeat the same procedure to the other 3 wheels, you're gonna have the wheels looking great in a matter of no time. Having the right tools for the job makes life so much easier. So that's enough for the wheels. Now let's get working on the paint. When it comes to washing the vehicle, ideally you'd want to start from the top and work your way down. Now the method that you go ahead to actually clean the vehicle makes a really big difference as to how the paint is going to look afterwards. So the more abrasive you are with the paint, the least amount of foam or soap or some sort of lubricant you have on the paint, the more the paint is going to get scratched during this procedure. So that's why I like to try to be as soft as possible and touch the paint as little as I can. So for that reason, I will use either a gun like this that will spray soap in front of my wash mitt, but when it comes to winter, I like using a foam cannon. So what I will use is a pressure washer, hook it up to a foam cannon, and this will literally spray foam over the entire vehicle. Once it's done, I'll rinse it down and then repeat the same procedure, but then go ahead and touch the car. So before I do anything, the car is not only gonna be rinsed down, but it's also gonna have most of the dirt that's on the car that's gonna be dropped and fallen down to the ground through the soap. So what I will do is put about 100 milliliters of pure concentrated soap inside a canister like this. I'll fill the rest up with water, put the top part of the foam cannon attachment on there, and then I will spray the entire car down. So the reason why I will use a foam cannon like this with a concentrated soap formula during the winter months is because I like using a pressure washer. So the reason why I like that is because I can use an attachment like this that you attach to the pressure washer, put the pressure washer underneath the vehicle, and it will shoot and spray up. So that's how you clean the bottom side of the car during the winter months. So any salt or whatever that's on the road, that will all get rinsed off rather easily. Now what I also do is I'll put the car on some ramps. So if I can have the car a little bit higher up in the air, it'll make it so that I can reach more areas with the pressure washer. But this is pretty much all you're doing. You're mixing water into the soap formula. You're gonna just swish it around so everything gets mixed up. And then you're gonna use this to wash your car. So you're gonna swish this around until everything looks to be the same color. When it's nice and consistent, that's when you attach this to the pressure washer. When you turn this here, this will adjust how the foam gets sprayed out, and you can also choose how much of the soap solution that's in here gets pulled up by turning this dial here. So before cleaning the body, you can see how filthy the paint is. The same thing goes for the damage on the side. Should we want to buff out those scratches, the paint needs to be clean. Attach a foam cannon to the end of your pressure washer and adjust the settings until you get a nice up and down fan pattern. Then spray the entire vehicle down with soap. What this is doing is penetrating the contaminants on the paint and softening them up. Should there be any loose debris or dirt that's on the surface of the panel, it will simply run down the side of the car while being suspended in the gentle soap. After letting the soap do its thing for 2 minutes, attach a 40-degree pressure washer tip to the pressure washer and rinse the vehicle down. Begin with the top and work your way to the bottom of the car. After the pre-rinse or the pressure wash and foam cannon route, what we can see now is that we've got paint that doesn't look too bad. So it's still kind of wet. You can see there's still areas like this that need to dry. But for the most part, all the heavy stuff that was on the paint is now off. So if you come up to it, you'll be able to see that there's not really much on the paint other than the dirt that is physically adhered to it. So if you can see how there's still a little bit left? So there's no way to remove that unless we physically contact the paint. So we need to do that and clean out the entire vehicle. But as you can tell, the paint will look super good, especially with this color. It's gonna look nice. So the wheels turned out good, pre-rinse is all good. Now it's time to follow it up with the hand route of hand washing it. And if you want to do the 2-bucket method, that definitely works. It does the trick. But I like being a little bit on the more conservative side of it. And I will use the other Gilmore foam sprayer along with a wash mitt to get the entire car cleaned out. So we're gonna be using this guy here to do the rest of the cleaning. So we can take that out and we can use that same soap that we have in here. We can reuse it and transfer it over to this bottle here. So whenever you're done using the power washer or whenever you're done using this sprayer that we're going to be using, you do want to rinse it out and flush it all with water. Any kind of soap solution that gets dried up inside of here is going to build up and eventually they'll start to not work. So it's a good idea after every single use, rinse it with water to not ever have to worry about replacing one of these things down the road. It's not like these things are super expensive, but if you can save yourself a couple bucks by just cleaning it and doing some simple maintenance, why not? And on the top of here, we have a little bar, and you can choose which hole this lines up to. And each one corresponds to how much fluid from the bottom is gonna be getting sucked up through the top, which means how much soap solution you're gonna be using from here and laying on the car. So you can choose for yourself whichever one you want. I like using the second option. So this uses 2 ounces per gallon of water that's shot out. So right there is option 1, and if we push it over a little bit more, that's option 2. So we're gonna use this, attach this end here to a hose, and then this connects on rather easily. You can use whatever wash mitt you prefer. You can use this Meguiar's one right here, or you can use this CarPro one right here. This one kind of looks like Donald Trump, not gonna lie, but both of them do the trick. Both of them work. If it's a super dirty car, if you can use a high pile wash mitt like this, it's gonna be able to trap a lot more dirt, and it's gonna be able to absorb it rather than just keep it on the paint, and you're basically pushing it and grinding it into the paint. So I'm gonna be using this one here, but if it's not so dirty of a car, something that's got a short pile like this will do the trick too. So what I'm doing is super simple. Connect this up to here. Always have soap sprayed onto the paint, and you're only using the wash mitt right on top of that soap. That way the soap is always leading the wash mitt into whatever panel you want to clean. So start from the top, work your way down, try not to touch the exhaust system, and then that's basically how you're gonna get your car washed. So before even touching the panel with the wash mitt, you wanna make sure that the paint is completely covered in soap. After that's done, wherever you put your wash mitt down, be sure that you have more fresh soap being sprayed onto that panel right in front of it. So wherever you're pushing that wash mitt into the paint, it's always going to be introduced into new soap. New clean soap, not anything that's really dirty. After you do a couple wipe downs of each panel, get your soap solution, spray it directly into your wash mitt to relieve it of any embedded dirt that's trapped in the wash mitt, and then repeat the procedure until you get the entire car cleaned. So just to show you once more, wherever I'm putting the wash mitt down on the paint, I'm putting brand new fresh soap directly in front of it. So I don't have the possibility of running that wash mitt over top of the paint that doesn't have a good amount of soap on it. This way you're gonna get an amazing scratch-free wash, and you're going to be making it so that the car is gonna be staying looking terrific for a long time. This type of scratch-free washing is super important, especially after you polish your car. If you go ahead at it and tackle the paint with a mentality that you don't wanna scratch it, you're gonna be doing something along these lines. After you've washed the entire vehicle, disconnect the Gilmore part to the garden hose attachment, rinse the entire vehicle down, and then you're gonna follow it up by drying it. You can use whatever kind of towel you want. In the description box, I've included some really good towels that I like using whenever I dry my vehicle. Okay, so the car is now cleaned up, it's fully dried, and there aren't really any kind of contaminants that are on the paint, so the car doesn't need to be clayed. However, the paint is pretty scratched up, especially the area where my friend hit the pylon. So let me show you that area in relation to the rest of the car. So what we're looking at here is the driver's side fender and the hood. So you can tell that there are indeed scratches in the paint. The paint definitely needs to be cut and polished in order to bring back the shine. Now, if you bring your inspection light up to it too, you can see that there are plenty of swirl marks in the paint. So this thing needs a detail without a doubt. So if we move to the back side of the car where the little impact happened, give me your thoughts. What do you think is gonna happen to this? Do you think I'm gonna be able to buff it out? Do you think this is total? Do you think this needs to go to an auto body shop? Do you think my friend needs to learn how to drive? The bumper was sent out to get fixed. It was sent out to get repainted. That had to be painted no matter what. But my friend got quoted to get all this fixed up, and it was quite expensive. So I wanna see if I can fix this. What do you guys think? So I just finished up with working on the front end of the car. It's all polished up, it looks terrific. Look at that reflection. Looks so much better than before. But my question is, what do you guys think is going to be required to take care of the scratches and the love marks that are found on the driver's side of the car from the impact? Do you think we're gonna be able to magic eraser it out? Does it have to be polished out? Are we gonna have to wet sand it out? What do you guys think? If you guys have any ideas, or if you guys wanna give me some input on this, comment sections down there. Let me know before you see what I'm going to be doing next to this. But if you guys wanna see exactly what I'm doing and my thought process behind tackling that, check the next video. It's going to be uploaded, so you guys can click that right now. You guys can see the video that I have uploaded regarding that, and you guys will be in the same spot as me. Right now, I have no clue what we're going to need to take care of that, but I'm gonna tackle it and I'm gonna show you my train of thought. If you guys wanna find the products that I used today in this video, you guys can find more information in the description box. Otherwise, guys, stay tuned. I've got the new video coming up. You can click it right here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.